Okay, in this video, we are going to learn how to memorize all of these Ohm's law formulas. And the method is going to be not memorizing each one individually. We're actually going to learn how to create something much smaller that we're going to be able to build all of those formulas off of to make it easier to memorize. Okay, so it's the formulas, but I'm just going to call it Ohm's law. Okay, so these phrases that I'm going to say are just to help you basically memorize this. So I highly recommend not only getting a pen and paper out and doing this, but also saying these things out loud. It has helped me memorize this. So we're going to start off, we're going to say we have a buddy named Epe, okay? And we're going to space these out. We have a buddy named Epe. Epe squared. Okay? Remember that's always the last one's always squared. So we have a buddy named Epe squared. We have a buddy named Epe. However you want to memorize it, they'll help you memorize it. Okay, then we're going to build t's. These t's are not relevant to an actual letter. They're just the shape of what we're doing. So we're going to be drawing the shape of a capital letter T. That one's a little small. It's fine. Don't worry about this being perfect. It's just going to help you memorize this. Okay, so it's just the general idea. We have a capital T under each one of those. We have Epe square. Okay, so Epe is a little different. He likes to eat ear pie. Notice how I spelt it. E-I-R. Just to help you. Ear pie. Help you memorize it. He likes to eat ear pie with his buddy named Peter. And his buddy named Peter spells his name a little differently. It's Peter. P-I-2-R. Helped me memorize it. Okay. And something that he's always saying is I have to pee. Like he has to pee really bad. So he's like, I have to pee. And then when he finally pees, he goes, I know it's a little weird, but that helped me memorize it. I couldn't memorize it. And then I saw some YouTube video and some guy explaining it just like this, and it stuck in my brain. So it's Epe squared likes to eat ear pie with his friend Peter. I have to pee. Okay, you see how I did that? And I don't need to explain the thing too much. I hope you get the point of that. It's after you pee. Somebody's go, Okay, so now from this, we can create all the Ohm's law formulas. So as you probably know, each one of them has 3 formulas, and we have our energy, or we have our, I'm going to explain it like this because this is how I see it. We have voltage, we have amps, we have ohms, and we have wattage. Okay? Otherwise known as you have your energy, your power, your resistance, and I don't know why, but I stands for current. Maybe it should be a C, I don't know, whatever. Okay, it's just what it is. It all makes sense. Energy, power. I'm just gonna forget about that. It's just a little weird. So what we're going to do is we're going to get E 3 times. Following? Okay. We're going to space these out. Good amount. We're going to do I 3 times. I always like to just space things out a good amount. R 3 times, and then P 3 times. Okay? When I first explain this might seem a little different. But if you do it with me, and after you do it, it will become extremely easy, and it'll be just like a pattern of doing it, and you'll see what I'm doing. And I literally did this, I think, like 1 time, and I memorized it. So it is very easy to help you memorize this. Okay, so the whole method is, we have all this, we have all this. So what does this mean? This means that if we want to find an E, we're going to start by looking at this. And to maybe help you, you could actually just cover this up and see what's left it's all relevant to this t, what's above it and around it. Okay, so for example, we're going to start with this one. E, I, and R. So if the I and the R are next to each other, they're just multiplied. Just think I times R. That's all that this means if they're next to each other. Times, 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 times. Okay? You get it? And we're finding E, so we're covering up the E and what's left. Okay? So we got E is I times R. Okay? I actually want to make those I's more I-like. Okay, so then we have our next E. So what are we going to do here? Okay, we're going to cover up this E, and we have P over I. So look at it just like that. P over I. It's P divided by I. Okay? What is the next one? Okay, we have our E right here. Ooh, we have an E squared. Okay, well, we have E right here, and we don't want to square this because that's not the formula. The formula is, what does E equal? Okay, well, let's make this really easy. What's the opposite of doubling something? And that would be square rooting something. Okay? Don't overcomplicate it. Just memorize it like that. You're just going to be doing the exact opposite of doubling it, of putting it to the power of 2, and that is going to give you the square root P times R. Okay? That's simple. Square root is the opposite as if you have this of the power of 2 over here. Okay? So now we have I. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do E over R. Maybe I should go a little slower. I don't want you to waste too much time, but you could always put this in faster mode or skip if it's a little too slow for you. I'm going to take my time so then someone can really see this and really see how it's done. Okay, so we're going to do we did this I, and that's how we got E over R. Okay, and now we're going to do this I, and we're going to get P over E. Okay? It's just very simple. It's not really overthinking, or it's not really a whole lot of thinking. It's just seeing the pattern of how you're doing it. And it makes it just kind of like a no-brainer almost. It's like, oh yeah. So then now we have the same thing again. We have an I squared. So I squared, what do? We basically just do whatever we were doing before, but we put a square root because it's the opposite of that. Okay? So you go I, P over R. Okay? And don't forget to square root it. Square root. Okay? So there's that. We're going to now go to R. So it's just the same thing over and over. So now we're going to cover the R, E over I. And by the end of this, I'm going to show you all the formulas in that book that I showed you in the beginning. And we're going to clarify that, and you could always look it up, but just in the video, I'll actually show you that yes, these are all correct. Okay, so let's go to the next one. We're going to cover the R. We're going to go P over I squared. Okay. And you could, once you memorize this, you can replicate this so quickly on a piece of paper, and then you can have every single formula, and this is a way for you to be able to prove to yourself that when you're in a stressed environment, when you're in a stressed, like if you're taking a test or something and you're kind of stressed out, and you're memorizing every single one of these formulas, when you get kind of stressed out and you have a time limit, it can get kind of like, for me, sometimes you forget one or two, or sometimes you're second guessing if you memorize it completely correctly. And these little kind of the things that I said, like the epe and the ear, pi and the peter and the and the pr and all that stuff, it's to help you memorize it better, because our memory is actually in our brain a certain point which is connected through neural pathways to different things like smell, taste, touch, hearing, seeing, and all these things, and even context in certain sense, and it's, you know, it's very specific. So with this, we're going to hopefully reinforce that memory a lot better. Okay, so let's just keep going. We have our next R, so we're going to cover up this R, and we have E squared divided by P. Okay, and then we have P as in power or wattage. And this is kind of interesting. I'll go with that at the end, actually. Okay, so let's keep going. P, I times E. And if you're understanding this, if you understand electrical and you're seeing that, okay, wattage is current times voltage, it's all like, oh, well, this is making sense. Okay, so then we have our next P, and we have I squared times R. Okay, and then we have our next P, and then we have E squared times R. So why are we doing this? First, we are doing this so we don't have to memorize, like I was saying, every single one of these. That can be kind of a lot. All we have to memorize is that funny little saying that I had, and at most all of this. Once you have all this, you have all this. And that can really come in handy. And like I said, it's a way for you to prove to yourself. So in the beginning of a test, if you could do this super quickly and have all these, it's almost like you know that these are the correct formulas because of this saying that is very easy. Just ep squared, ear pi, Peter, I have to Peter. It's a foolproof, just bulletproof method in my opinion. So I really like it.